Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Farming Life in Another World, which was a recommendation by Farmer Man Jeb. Thank you very much for the recommendation.
Appreciate it.
But if you want to hear the pre-show where we kind of recounted and talked about Witch Hunter Robin, since last week was just a solo, we get to hear Rick's thoughts and have a little bit of a discussion on it, special for our Patreons. If you go to patreon.com/featured anime podcast, $1 a month to get you access to that bonus content and more. Plus, also, if you want to help support us through other means, you can go hit those affiliate links down there for you for Crunchyroll. Get yourself a free trial or get yourself some nice swanky swag with a discount from them. And then, of course, let us not forget about Tokyo Treats. Tokyo Treat, if you use our affiliate link in the show notes, and along with coupon code Featured Anime, you get yourself a discount off that very first box. And trust me, those treats are oh so delicious and oh so worth it. And, of course, let's not forget about our nice, wonderful, swanky swag that you go and buy yourself from shop.featuredanimepodcast.com. Of course, all this information is available in the show notes and on featuredanimepodcast.com. And now, on to the meat and potatoes. Farming Life in Another World came out in January 2023, aired all the way through March 2023. It's a comedy, fantasy, harem, slice of life, romance anime, and then the producers for it are Enterbrain, Fujimi Shobo, TV Tokyo ATX, just to name a couple of them. It is based off of a light novel and is studio of Zero G, with 12 episodes being the length. Now, Farming Life in Another World follows our Hiraku, which died from a terminal illness in his original world. He gets reincarnated into a new world. However, he's given kind of a leg up, in a manner of speaking, by being given the almighty farming tool, air quotes, as a way to make up for accidentally giving him the life of a sinner, where he was constantly betrayed and then died a horrible death from a terminal illness when he had done absolutely nothing wrong. However, he ends up being accidentally put into the forest to death, and as a result, as a result of having this almighty farming tool, he's still able to live a fairly easy and comfortable life, building an actual community and people living there with him, and a farm and everything else in the middle of this deadly forest. This show follows him as they move through those shenanigans and him building his life.
Yeah, the manga is very different than the show, pleasantly. But in the anime, you kind of find out what's going on piece by piece, where in the manga, God plays a much larger part. We're only really
Right.
talking about
the
anime at this point.
When they wrote the show, they were basing it off the light novel, not the manga.
Oh,
That's why I said light novel.
well, fair enough.
Because like
In
Overlord,
my mind,
they're
there's
not
not
the
much
same.
difference in my mind.
There
I
is
know
a
we've talked about it before, but
there
in
is
my
a big
head, they're
difference.
interchangeable.
They're not.
They're interchangeable.
One has
I
pictures.
know they're not, but
Okay, one's a comic book, the other one's not. All right. All right. So
I believe you. It's just
okay. Look.
it's
So
going to take a lot longer for me to rectify that.
You
but
have
still.
entirely different publishers for it too. Just keep that in mind. There are different publishers for the manga. The story can be vastly Fujimi Shobo is the publisher for the manga. Enterbrain is the publisher for the light novel. That is why they're also both producers on the anime.
Oh, okay. So in your opinion, do you think they were joint there, or it's just
they both
common
have a
practice
vested interest in making sure it succeeded, because if it succeeds, it means more sales for them. So that is why. Like
That's
course,
good
they're
to know.
going to have a vested interest in it. It is like that for a lot of the shows that are out there. When it comes to like, for example, Overlord, you have the web
Yes.
novel, you have the light novel, and then you have the manga. All three of them will actually have different aspects of the story. It'll be fleshed out in a different way. It may change details from one aspect to another, depending on the styling, the writing, or what's going on. It allows you to focus on certain aspects or the visual elements of it more so in the manga than you do in the light novel. So in the light novel, you have more world building, more discussions or descriptive imagery going on in there versus in the manga where you literally are showing the image of the scene. You're showing the scenery. You're showing how the person looks. You're showing all this information out the gate.
Okay. No, you sold me.
That's why
every time unfortunately, you're probably gonna have to sell me a few more times before we die, but it makes sense why there'd be a difference.
Yeah, but that's also why, like, also just the fact that the manga could actually, or one of the source materials for it could have a different writer for it or someone else that is helping write it because the writer may be focused on a different project. So he could be having someone else write it for him, but it's within his guidelines for it. So there could be differences in that regard too.
Okay.
Just depends.
Well,
There's a variety of things that can go on, that can happen.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So what I was trying to point out was actually moot now that you made those good points. But more to what I was originally thinking. God, I was expecting to play a much larger, not necessarily more hands-on approach, but like in most isekais, when you meet God and you're like, oh, we made a mistake, we're giving you this aid. It's not just one or two things. And you come to find out that the miracle gardening tool isn't just a miracle gardening tool. It's an all-powerful weapon that sucks the life energy out of you just on use. And what's funny
which is deadly for humans too. They point that out and they rectify it by him going, I made him really healthy.
Yeah.
And they point this out too, even when when our Hiraku runs into she even comments and points out, it's like, oh, you have a lot of stamina, you have a lot of vitality,
you must be eating healthy.
Yeah, which I mean, like, to be fair, he is.
Yeah, he was. He
is eating very healthy. I mean, just the fact that and here's something else to kind of really point out: the power of the tool isn't just like, oh, it makes it easier for him to farm or to throw and kill something. No, it'll if he uses it as a weapon, it completely kills, destroys, obliterates, what have you, whatever it hits. If it hits a vitality spot, you're gone.
Yeah.
Also, it has the ability to change into whatever tool he wants it to, and I thought was really cool, was that anything he uses that for, like if he's thinking about what he wants to plant, it plants that immediately. His field has that, whether it's a tree, whether it's mushrooms, whether it's fruits or veggies or what have you, it does not matter. It gives them that.
And some of the people, so magic is a very prevalent and very useful and very common thing for everyone around him except for him. And what's funny is later on in the show, there's another vampire that shows up who's a researcher, is a researcher first, vampire second, interesting character third, in that order in my mind. And they're like, oh, so maybe it didn't work for me because I did everything you did, but it didn't work for me because I didn't use your spell. And what's funny is whenever he's using a hoe, whenever he's using a rake, whenever he's planting stuff, tilling a field, he'll repeatedly say what he wants to build, like mushroom.
Well, he says the specific mushrooms, right? And that's the thing. He just can't go mushroom and it just grows mushrooms, because then at that point there's no direction. Just like he can't go.
He did that one time, and you're right, it didn't really give him the result he wanted. So he's like, oh, maybe I can make this specific thing. So then he does, and he specifies like you're talking about.
Yeah, well, the other thing is he knew he had to be specific out the gate while he was doing it, because he figured that out while he was planting and everything else. So for the crops, he immediately, I think within the first 2 episodes, had said, "Oh, I have to think about this as I'm going through this. So while I'm thinking about it, that's what gets planted." So he already inherently knew that's what it had to be.
Yes, but he didn't go specific brands until, or not brands. Brands isn't the right word. Specific varietals until the mushrooms, because he did tomatoes, but he didn't have to decide, oh, cherry tomatoes or red ripe tomatoes or what kind of granny
Because
apples
he
we have.
didn't, right? Yeah, but for the mushrooms,
So,
it was a happenstance.
exactly.
He didn't think about wanting to grow mushrooms. He didn't think about growing mushrooms until after he saw mushrooms growing, and he goes, "Oh, I can use it for mushrooms." And that's when he started doing it. The mushrooms that were growing weren't mushrooms that he wanted to grow, weren't ones he was trying to grow. They were just mushrooms that happened to be there growing.
Oh, I thought when he was trying to ferment it and stuff like that, he was like pat pat pat, and then yeast yeast yeast, and then this, and then that,
Yeah.
which is why the researcher thought it was going to be a spell of some kind,
Yes.
and it's remarked several times.
Yes.
So that's why I was like, oh, it's
Well, he's saying that
it's
because
funny he has to set up.
he has to, he's vocalizing it because he wants to make sure that that's
Yes.
what he's thinking of while he's doing it, because he knows that's what he needs to do. And he will just, like, while he's doing it, he's making sure he doesn't lose his train of thought while he's doing it, because he has someone that's actively watching him that will more than likely distract him.
Could you imagine? You're like, I'm going to do apples. I wonder what a pear tastes like. Apples. You know what? Peaches be good. Apples. Oranges, though, but that might be it. Apples. And now you have just this field of sporadic, just chaos.
The thing,
it doesn't happen, thankfully, but.
Well, no, that's the thing is he goes, I know the fruit I want to do, right? So, and that's why he went out there and tested. He's like, this one spot is apple tree. This spot is this tree. This spot is this tree. This spot is this tree.
Well, yes. And once he has his own little setup situated, that's when things start rolling in. He's like, I really don't want to just simply eat nothing but vegetables. I wish I could get some meat. And then rabbit shows up, and he uses his hoe to kill the rabbit. He goes, oh, it must not have been that strong. Little did he know.
Yeah. That's the other thing that I actually really liked about this is he maintained his aloofness to it, but still tried to improve on it. So when he finally got to a point to other people being there, he would talk to them. He would try to improve upon it. He would make sure that what he's thinking is correct, rather than like what we see so many other characters do across many other shows, stay ignorant. He chooses to not.
Yeah, he does learn, and it's refreshing. It's a minor twist on a show genre that I am very happy that happened. I wasn't expecting it, but we have an MC that grows. We have an MC that learns, that's open to. It's not automatically overpowered, even though he's got this amazing tool, and he's still willing to put the work in and day out. And granted, he does have a very simple or simplistic view of what he wants, which also makes it very easy to achieve visually and in practice for the show.
Yeah.
And he adopts these puppies. He adopts a few other creatures that turn out to be like boss tier beasts.
It's not that he adopts them. They show up and they start living there. And that's the other thing. That's the trend, minus Rue, who comes there and he asks her to stay. Everyone else just ends up staying, or he ends up being asked, like, hey, can I stay? And that's the trend, is everything literally for him in this world is falling into his lap in terms of powerhouses, like two of the craziest, strongest, or most powerful individuals, these creatures or these wolves or whatever else, is the exact same thing. It's the constant point where he is always growing, where he is always getting all these people that are literally falling into his lap, that have, honestly, no real reason to be there other than the fact that he's there.
Other than the fact the MC power just draws them in.
Yeah. I mean, like, main character energy is very much a thing in this, and it follows through 100% of the time.
Yeah. I mean, originally what I thought happened was God gave him vitality, God gave him charisma, God gave him the really awesome tool, and then on top of everything else, God is out there like pushing, like, hey, go over here, hey, go over here. Turns out, no, none of that's happening. It's just dumb luck on his end.
Yeah.
And it makes you believe that if you have a purpose in life, whatever your purpose might be, so long as you pursue that, everything else will fall into place. A good saying is, if you monitor the cents, the dollars will fall in line. Meaning, like, pay attention to the little things, and the big things will line up as well.
Right.
And it's, maybe I'm looking too far into it. It's a nice, easy to consume, really good show in my mind.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny and maybe a little bit overplayed that he got a boatload of elves, like straight up wood elves, mountain elves. But he got
there was a plethora of women that
is,
literally just come there, nothing but women.
Yes.
And in fact, at a certain point, everyone thinks that that's all he wants, and so they're like, "Well, just have women come live with you to appease you, I guess, or whatever it is." It's like, no, that's literally that's not all I want. Please have guys come, have guys. Here's the thing, though, right? Going back to the people that are coming there and living there with him now.
Yeah,
they followed the Lord of the Rings route for the dwarves.
They did.
And they give you a visual representation of it too, which was amazing. I thought that was amazing. It's like, oh, I can't believe, and the guy's reaction too. It's like, I can't believe you making me say this out loud. I like a nice, good beard on her, on my women. And it's like, oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. Like, do you like anybody here? Well, I mean, if only they could grow some facial hair. And you're like, well, not that kind of anime. Probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But the thing I was kind of reflecting on, the thing I was laughing about is one of the requests that all of the elves were making are, we want to be successful, we want to be useful, and we want to repopulate. And
they would all stare at him too.
Yeah, and then he's like, I can help with the first part. I don't know how I'm going to help with the second. I'm going to ignore that, and then we'll circle back. We'll get around to that when the village gets bigger.
Right. The other thing too is other characters actually comment on all those elves too. It's like, oh, those are the crazy elves that literally steal men. It's like, oh, okay. And also on top of that too, like when they built the house, he's like, oh, why is there a lock on the outside of the door? Opens it up, sees a big bed in there, and I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that and move on with my life.
Yeah. Willfully ignorant. And it's a beautiful thing.
Well, it's not that he's completely ignorant, because he also is fully aware of what they're doing. For example, towards the end, he's like, "Oh, I fell and I can't get up," type of thing, and everyone just like pops out of the woodwork. He goes, "And I'm gonna have to seal all those entry points now." Amazing, because literally there were so many different entryways. It's like, how does that even work?
It was a honeycomb. They peppered his room with entry points for security reasons. No, but that's what I mean about willfully ignorant. He knew what everything would be. He's choosing to be like, nope, I don't, nope.
Yep.
Thank you, but no.
Yep. So it's fun. It's a fun show. It's easy to go with. It's not hard at all.
Like I started Thursday, and then I was done by Saturday, and it was very easy to follow, very upbeat, very fast paced. There were a few times I had to do a double take because, I'm not good with names, and I'm not good with I'm not good with faces all that well. And there's a boatload of just almost identical cookie cutter characters in here. And they're all, I don't want to say individualistic. Like they all have their own individual things. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh, this is the story for the, oh, wait, no, that's a completely different person. Oh, this is the, oh, nope, wrong person. Oh, yeah, wrong person. Okay. But they were so small and minuscule, like side stories that they didn't detract from the main storyline.
Yeah. Also, for some of the side stories, they did either help fill in some of the questions that you had, or when they were in line with what was happening at that point, it helped fill in the gaps of information that weren't already there. So if you had a question about particular individuals or something like that, it helped either reinforce it or expand upon it a little bit to help give you a better understanding and clarification.
Yeah, no, it was really, really well done. Like as far as keeping the pace going, I think I already said that. Yeah. But it as well as not leaving you wondering. And when the story seems to get a bit stale, you're like, again, they switch it up and they give you a different perspective. They give you an outer world view. I feel like the trope of an overbearing demon lord that turns into just an overzealous father. It's a bit much, but at the same time, the goofy characters fit with the story.
Yeah.
And just like most anime, the way that they bring the food into it, just mouth watering for me. So I'm like, that food looks amazing. And I don't like most of the food they're talking about, but good Lord, do they make it look appetizing. Oh, I want a mushroom hot pot. I despise mushrooms. I probably haven't had a good one, to be perfectly honest, but I wanted to try it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, right? Also is in this show, all the dishes and everything else that he was bringing to the world or that he was preparing and everything else was unique to his world. The fruits, the veggies, everything like that were completely unique to that world. Common for our world, unique to their world.
Yeah, like they didn't have apples. Apples were what they considered to be a delicacy. And their exchange rate, which was kind of corrected at the end, was so obtuse and weird, at least from my point of view, that it was the introduction of currency was necessary, because the way they did it was, well, what do you think one apple's worth? Well, one apple's worth at least 5 strawberries. So
let me stop you right there. Right. Okay, so that wasn't a correction for everyone else out there. The introduction of currency, and he spelled it out, was for the necessity of it, because everyone gauges what an apple would be worth differently. Now,
yes.
The difference is he was having it sent out elsewhere or anything else for it. Majority of the time it was being traded, and it was being traded for goods and services. So you had one individual that always held the status quo because he was the one that was behind all the trading for them. He took care of the trading across the world for them. He had the status quo of whatever it was. Anyone coming to do business directly with him, at that point, it would be an entirely different ballgame. And with how big their village is in terms of trading internally, right, it would cause havoc, because you have someone that's like, oh, I'm going to give you 4 strawberries for this. Oh, I'm going to give you this. Now he's trying to standardize it, help level the playing field in his community, because he is literally building a community. He's building an entire city.
Yeah, and he's giving if you show up, you work, and you don't work light. You work your butt off.
Yes.
One of the things. Remember, I mentioned that everyone basically knows magic.
Yes.
Well, one of the magics they know is how to clean themselves instantly.
Yes.
So like baths aren't necessary, and he creates a bath, and he's like, "This is going to be great for me. I have this. I have that. I have this." He makes it, and then everyone's like, "Yay! It's all for us too." And he's like, no."
Yeah. He wanted to separate it out. He goes, I can't really justify making a bath just for myself. So we could totally separate it out, and we could take turns, and none of them were all about that. So this is the epitome and the focal point of a harem. Like, this is the very definition of a harem. The guy is living with a bunch of women who want to be with him. They have no real interest in anyone else at all other than him. And in fact, more people are coming there to be with him, surrounding him, and are largely only interested in him. In fact, the only time other male characters are introduced are because of brute force. And even then, it's not meant, there's not going to be any detraction from the focal point of him being the focal point.
Yeah.
With the exception of the elves, where when they saw the boys from the village, the beastmen,
yeah,
when they saw the young men, I thought it was hilarious where some of them were just obviously weighing like how long they had to wait.
Like, well, we live long enough anyway. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
What's a good 10 years? It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, those poor boys. Those poor kids. They're gonna grow up and then just be used and abused.
Yep.
In the best way possible.
Like
gorgeous elves.
I
don't wish I was them at all.
Right. Well. Anyways, moving on. I honestly don't have too much more I could really talk about. I mean, that would be worthwhile, or that wouldn't be giving away more than what I've already given away. In all honesty, it's a very short show, but it's a very quick and easy watch. So if you're wanting something that's really kind of lighthearted, easy to watch, has those comedic moments, the points where it is hilarious or funny, for sure, this is going to be the show for you. However, if you're along the lines of, I literally don't want to watch this be an entire harem and just have everyone pining after one guy in ridiculous ways, this is probably not the show for you.
Yeah.
So that is kind of one of the things that I dislike.
Get tiring.
It got tiring.
It does get tiring.
It got tiring quick.
Yeah. They do have a nice little twist at the end you to look forward to, though.
Yeah. But aside from those honestly, those comedic moments, in terms of true character growth and development for the main character, I would have to say it's lackluster. For Hiraku, it is very much status quo is maintained.
Yeah, I would say that. It's a nice, good laugh and laugh. You know, it's a nice, good life for him. It's a reward more than anything else, and the
thing that he's
enjoying it.
He is enjoying it. However, the kind of the plot holes, so to speak, plot holes in here are the fact that, one, he knows how to properly cultivate and get and harvest and utilize and cook and prepare everything.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades at the very beginning, and he's a master of most of them.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I actually disliked, and the fact that there were some instances or points in the story where I felt like it was not needed did kind of hang around there. And with the fact that he tries to go and improve himself a little bit, and then he immediately stops. Like, I don't need to improve, in a manner of speaking. When it comes to combat ability and prowess and being able to fend for himself and everything like that. Okay. Like, quite literally, there are points he is given absolute zero hardships. He is given no real or true obstacles. Anytime he is about to come to an obstacle, it is immediately removed from his path.
I mean, that's kind of the point of having a good life, like having a good, like not retribution, as a recompense for having an absolutely horrific life.
Look, the thing is even at the beginning, when he's put into an area where he should have had a much harder time and being given some kind of obstacles in and of itself, he is still given none. Everything is just, I
Yeah.
understand he's, it's supposed to be given a good life and everything like that. That does not mean have zero character growth, zero accountability,
Yeah. I see what
zero
you mean.
point for improvement.
I see what you mean. Basically, you dropped him in a level 1 area with a level 50 sword.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean by that. He doesn't really have to do anything. And more to the point, if it doesn't have anything to do with the tool, he's useless.
Yes.
But
And
because of the tool, you don't need.
Yeah. The tool turns into everything. It gives him everything. It solves all his problems. And at a certain point too, he only eats. He's eating because he wants to, not necessarily because he has to. Is what the feeling I got from it too.
Yep,
and
that's
so
exactly it. He had the desire to, not the need.
Yeah. So I don't know. There are more things about this. So I mean, I didn't want to leave it like, oh, this is a truly great anime. This is by far one of the best animes. Blah 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 blah. No, there are a lot of problems with it. There are a lot of points in this where it could have improved upon. It could have been better. There's shortcomings for this, and the fact that all the other issues that I have. I mean, like, I get it. I get the story. I get who it's targeted towards. I know the individuals that it's geared towards. I do.
I was gonna say, I mean, in all honesty, it sounds kind of like you're just, for what it is, it's accurate.
For what it is, for the group it's probably targeting, I totally get it. I do. It was an easy watch, for sure. I didn't hate it by any means.
I mean, it sounds like it's not going to get a high score, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it sounds probably because it's not going to get a terribly high score. It's not going to get a low score, but it's.
I would say it's generic.
Yes.
So, I'm ready for a score. What about you?
I think this is a great spot to leave off on a rating, sir. So, on a scale of up to 10, how would you rate this?
I'm going to give it I'm going to give it a 7. 6. I'm going to give it a 6. I was originally thinking a 5 and then a 7. An easy 6. It is something I'd recommend. It's not something I'd watch again. But it's junk food. It's good junk food. It's a good placeholder for what you need. And yeah, that's where I'm at with it. What about you?
5. Flat 5.
Wow.
Just it's there. It exists. I've honestly seen the title card for it. I've seen the synopsis for it before several times. It just never, honestly, for me, just never piqued my interest to actually go and watch it. So I more than likely would have never watched this had it not been recommended.
Well, in that case, thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah. That's the other thing too, is like everyone's always welcome to give us recommendations and everything like that. We will be happy to watch them. Whether or not we like them is another story, but we'll be happy to watch them, and we will watch them.
What? No, that's not true.
I will watch them.
Yes, that's true. You will watch them. There is.
Anyways,
I cannot honestly say I'd watch anything that's too horrific, but
yeah, there are certain boundaries that
limiters.
Yeah, bearing certain limiters. Obviously. So next week we are going to be talking about So next week's choice is I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time, which was a recommendation by Warhammer Jeb. Thank you very much for the recommendation, Jeb. If you want to have a chance of having your show watched by us, any recommendations that you give us are literally, no joke, randomly chosen. Not even we know what we're going to be watching next. So feel free to go ahead and give us a recommendation, all that wonderful stuff. You can go to featuredanimepodcast.com to get to where you can recommend us stuff. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick. And we'll be farming with you next time.